we don't have the luxury of time. We need to do a lot of things in a relatively narrow time span. If you look at what we did, for instance, in other parts of the world, whether it's in North America or Latin America, where we built, or in Japan, where we built a whole stills portfolio that spans across all the different categories: water, juices, teas, coffees, etc. We did that over anywhere from 10, 15, 20, 25 years. That's how long it took in those places. That's why we have a very broad portfolio. That's why we span across all the categories and so on and so forth. But we don't have the luxury of time to be able to do that in the rest of the world, where we're more limited to maybe one or two categories. And so what we need to do is take the stuff that we've learned in other places, brand platforms, the know-how, the business models, and be able to implant those into these new territories. What I'd like to do is, over the next 2 to 3 years maximum, be able to have critical mass across all categories. So by 2020, be able to have critical mass in all categories, platforms that are in those spaces that we can then grow from 2020 on to 2030. And then really be able to leapfrog, if you will, the way we did it in other parts of the world, in Europe, in Africa, in Eurasia, to get to where we want to get to. Because I think over the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to be able to use the base that we have to be able to generate the growth that we want. But beyond that point, we're going to have to generate growth from these new platforms that we're putting together. So for me, it's essential that the culture change in such a way that we can do things faster. If we do it the way we've done it in the past, we're way too slow, whether it's us or the bottlers, and we need to find a way to be able to minimize the amount of time that it takes us to be able to launch new products and platforms, to take risks. We may not be successful. We may have a lot of launches that don't work, but we're going to learn from those failures, and we can reaccommodate, change, modify, and make something better so that we can succeed. And I think if we do that as a culture, we'll be able to get to where we want to get to in the time frame that we want to get there.